Okay, now what we want to do is to test our FTP details. So first thing to do is load up FileZilla, which is the program we installed earlier on, and go up to the top here, click on File, click on Site Manager, and what this is going to do, this is going to store all of the FTP details or the server details for all the websites that we have. We may only have one, or we might have more than one. Either way, it's going to save the details in here, so we only have to actually set this up once. Now, there's a little button down here called New Site. Let's click on that, New Site. So to begin with, it calls it New Site, so we want to change that. Just put your cursor in there and backspace, delete all that. And what I normally do is I put the domain names in here. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it My First Site, or you can call it My Business Site. That's just for your own reference, but because I tend to have quite a few of them in here, I like to know which website it is by domain name. So my webcatalystdemo.co.uk. This has nothing to do with the settings, this is just for your own reference in this box. So I just happen to want to call it the domain name. Sometimes in brackets I put the hosting provider to remind me, like this, Liquid Web. So there we go, that's created the little container, and now on the right hand side here, this is the actual technical info that we want to put in. And this is where we need to refer back to the welcome email from Liquid Web. So this is mine here, and this is the section we're looking at, FTP login information for this particular account. So you see the first name here, we've got hostname and IP address. And if you look in FileZilla, it says a little box here called host. So it wants to know what host we want to connect to. So host is just the name of the server. So host name, what I'd recommend you do is just copy it. So highlight the host name, right click, copy, go to FileZilla, right click and paste it in the host box. You need to change this login type. To begin with, it'll be on anonymous, which means you can't change these fields, but we need to change that to normal so it lights them up. So in the user box, bring up the email again, this is the username. So highlight username, right click, copy, back to FileZilla, right click, paste the username in, click in the password box. Now Liquid Web purposely do not email you your password for security reasons, so you need to type that in yourself. So click in the password box, type it in, and that is it. Host name, set it on normal, put a username in, put your password in, give the project a name, and that is it. The other thing you might want to do is that Liquid Web say here what the port number is 21, and that's default anyway, but if you want to put 21 in, you can do. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. And then down the bottom here you've got three options: OK, cancel, and connect. I want you to click on connect. Oh, this says I've already got a connection established, so if this ever comes up, it means that you're already logged into another server. So I always just say abort that connection and connect to the one I've just asked about. So click OK. That shouldn't do that for you, it'll just connect successfully. If it works, you'll see something like this. So on the left hand side here, this is our computer. This is just the status log at the top here, and these are the files on our computer. These on the right hand side are the files on the server. So this is the hosting plan. A web server is just the same as any old computer, it just happens to be slightly more powerful, and it's just sat in a in a hosting facility somewhere, but it's got a hard drive just like any other computer, and all we're doing is using a piece of that hard drive. And the reason we use a web server to host a website rather than our own computers is that our computers are not powerful enough, our internet connections aren't fast enough, and also we'd have to have them 24 hours a day, 10 switched on, connected to the internet in case anyone wanted to visit the website. Right? That's what a web server's for. So the the folder you want to be working in is this one here, the public HTML folder. If you double click on that, it will let you go in there. Now this, whatever you put in here, will be accessible from your domain name. Okay, so what I mean by that is if we bring up our web browser, you can type in www. and then whatever domain name we registered. In my case it was webcatalystdemo.co.uk. What it's going to do is it's going to load up whatever's in that folder. So let me show you the FileZilla again. So this is us looking at it from an FTP point of view. So here we can just upload files right into that folder, but when we look at it with our web browser, it's going to show us the actual web pages that are in there. At the moment there's nothing in there, so all it does is shows us, it says index of, this is just a blank server page, and as soon as we put something in there we'll be able to access it. So the next thing we'll do is create a little file, upload it, and make sure that that works.